Welcome everybody to Culture Shock Podcast. It's your boy Pat Bayless. We're back for the Trap series, episode number 2. This one is called Being Trapped in the Moment. Yes, I know a lot of you right now are going through moments of, I don't even know. It's got to be something crazy, or it could be something very light, but you could be trapped mentally in that moment. And today we really want to discuss, me and Adam again, really want to discuss the feelings of being trapped in a moment and getting through that moment, and also the ups, the downs, the goods and the bads of being in a moment and not really having a way out or feeling like we have a way out. And, I just want to introduce Adam. Adam, how are you, my brother?
Good. Happy to be here.
I think this is the first time I've had people on here with shades.
Yeah.
On this one.
Yes. Set the precedence.
You know? Yes, it's set. So it's dope. It's definitely very cool. And, I wanted to bring up being trapped in a moment because moments sometimes can feel like forever, and moments can sometimes feel like, I want to say, people say stuck in the moment, right? Mm-hmm. And then people can't forget about the moment, or they can feel the moment, but a moment can carry so much weight in somebody's life. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we wish we could go back to the moments. So when you hear the term being trapped in a moment, do you look at it as a positive or a negative right off the bat?
Well, I think it's hard to be really biased on it, because when I say trapped in a moment, it could be reflecting in your actions, that you'd be trapped in the nostalgia, and the best moments ever at that time, you might want to relive it because you want to probably get that feeling back, but you're not necessarily able to. And then that could lead to like, man, maybe I can find it better, or you're just motivated to bring that same feeling back. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing. But when you look at it from a temptation aspect, like I've been killing myself on this, chicken and rice diet, haven't had ketchup in 6 months, but that cupcake is looking mighty fine and nobody will know. I'll run harder tomorrow. That could be that moment where you're just like, you really don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Trapped in a moment for me, I think about childhood a lot. I think about childhood and wanting to go back there. Like we all say when we're a child, man, I wish I could grow up. I wish I could be 18, or I wish I could be 21 so I could drink. I could do whatever I want. I could go to bed when I want to. And this, when we're kids, we all say that. We all think that. And then it comes to a point where you wish you could go back to being a kid and you just didn't have responsibilities. And trapped in a moment, I think, can be a positive, but I also more so think it's a negative, because I think in life you always want to constantly grow and take the next step. And I think when we live in a moment, I spoke about it recently, said, I always used to say, I wish I was 25 again, or I wish I was 23, because those were the funnest moments of my life. Those were, I didn't have all this pressure or all of this, weight on my chest. It was carefree. It was carefree. Mm-hmm. So I would say that, but now I've learned that no, the best moment or moments is ahead. But I also think there's layers to moments, because moments can be so painful. It can be loss, that moment of loss, like the moment I'll never forget of me kissing my father's head after he passed away. That moment is ingrained in my head, because I can't get it out of what I felt, what it felt like, all of that. Yeah. What I seen. And I think also even in relationships, we want to sometimes get back to, whether it be with a girl or a family member, where we want to get back to having that relationship with that person where it just felt so pure, genuine, and loving. Mm-hmm. And do you ever feel like in any part of your life you've been stuck or caught in a moment that is ingrained in your brain and you can't really move on from it?
Yeah. I guess the term that people identify it would be trauma, but
or dwelling, right?
So
dwelling as well,
because your body will react to certain things if you've been like in a car accident and you've been hurt from that car accident. and now you may want to move differently, or if you recognize a similar situation about to happen, your body will get really tense, or you may just freeze up and not know what to do. And your mind is like, well, it may not be that bad, but you can't get over what already happened. I felt times where, or even if you've fallen and injured yourself, and then it would kind of deter you from even trying to do that again. Like when I went mountain bike riding and I fell 7 times that day and limping back, all
Mm-hmm.
covered in trees and blood and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, the video looked funny when I fell, but have I been back there? No, this was 2020. I'm not. I don't need to. Flat plane is okay. I wouldn't say that it was the worst time because it was an experience, but it was a painful experience that just deterred me from doing that again. You know.
What do you feel like it looks like for most people? What do you feel like being trapped in a moment looks like for most people? Like from the outside looking in, when you're around people that you see are kind of stuck and say they're staying with somebody for a long period of time because they're stuck in a moment that they had with the person,
Mm.
but everything else is showing wrong, showing negative, showing get the heck out. What do you feel like that looks like on most people?
Heavy judgment. It's kind of like when you play, people in baseball playing pickle, back and forth, running back and forth. It's like, why did you take that opportunity to stay ahead? Now you met with a challenge. You got to go back. And maybe you have a little bit of a chance to go forward, and then now you're trying to progress forward. And now people think you're either playing a game, you're confused, or you're running from something.
Right. What do you feel on the flip side of the positives? The positives of moments, because the beauty for me in the moments is the lesson, is the understanding that it's there. So for me, I always say, I think I know what love is, but I didn't know how to love.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt love. I felt that joy. I felt it in my heart. I felt it in my body, but I didn't know how to then give it back. So I want to say the positive in that is I was able to feel it. I was able to understand it, recognize it, and now understand it moving forward that this ain't love, what I'm feeling over here.
Mm-hmm.
This is maybe just lust or just something else. But I've felt love before. The also positive is I've seen in the moment what a functional family looks like. I've seen in the moment what a great person does for another person in need. I've seen it. I've been there. So let me just take from it. You understand what I'm saying? Let me take from the moment instead of dwelling in the moment, instead of wishing I could get back to the moment. Let me take it as I step forward.
Mm-hmm.
Have you found yourself in that mindset now of that moment was great, but I'm just using that as the journey?
Yeah. Relationships of where you actually find yourself with opportunity to love. You could have been coasting through it. Everything was great. Everything was normal. Things broke off, and then you moved on. You find yourself in a new love, and you're like, well, damn, I felt like this before. I felt different before. Maybe that was love. Maybe this was love. It's like you're a little confused. You move on to another situation. You're like, well, okay, now I know better. I'm in love with this person. I wanted to love that person. I couldn't process it before with the other person. And then you kind of gauge that understanding that these were the moments that kind of define what I really want. And then me kind of understanding what challenges are there, and then me wanting to pursue and protect what I either currently have or just know through that timeline what I should go back and fight for.
Right. And even I think I would say social media, right? Like we think about social media and we think about how many things we see. Obviously more, I would say more on the negative side. I would just say in general, more on the negative side, we see of people how to handle this or how to handle that. And like I said 1,000 times before, is everybody has a mic now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really for most, it's what they're comfortable listening to. Yeah, I want a man with he's got to make over this money. He's got to be this tall. This is the podcast I want to listen to about. Let's do this to these dudes, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna get married, and we're gonna do this. Instead of like full circling around of I could hear that nonsense, but I want to learn different mentalities and see where I really feel like where my core is. Where my head is really wants to be at, where I want to grow.
Yeah.
And I think those things can make momentary moments of like dwelling, like even music. I think we're all prisoners of that. I say that to say we have artists and we have things that we hear the song, we're in that spot again. Man, there's, that song, like, as you know, like there's certain, I'm a big Chris Brown fan. So there's certain, and I know you're going to laugh, but there's certain music that I hear it and it's like.
You just start dancing.
No, start dancing. I don't know about I mean, I started dancing for sure, but it's good moments, and it's like, man, I remember being in the club and this song would come on, and I would hear it, and this is the club song, and then there's moments of like,
you in that long solo drive, and you just hear that song,
but it hurts. There's still music that could bring you to a moment and make you feel that pain all over again. As soon as I hear that Chris Brown residuals, that little beat. Like as soon as I hear that, it's like, oh man, heart start boom, 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 boom. But it's true. As soon as I hear that song, it takes me back to that person. It takes me back to tell me who. As soon as you hear that, who's getting on my boom, and you're like, damn, like this is all, but it's all mental. Because at the end of the day, when that song is over and you get over that little moment of when you just sang it with your heart out in the car, it's like, okay, that was just that again was just a moment. I'm still having to get up every day. I'm still having to move. And in a way, I feel like society in the social media like wants you to stay in the moment. That's why you got Instagram. So you can savor the moments.
A minute at a time.
Exactly. A minute at a time, the day, the year, my 32nd birthday, 30. You could savor those moments. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with going back into the moments and saying, man, that was fun. That was lit. But how much is that moment impacting you now? How much is that moment driving you now? What is that the driving force on how you move now? Man, I wish I was 25. I want to act like I was 25 again. Come on, you're not 25 again.
That might be the best birthday you had, and then everything after that's crappy.
Right.
So it's like sometimes you want to relive it or just make it better.
Right.
And then you look back, it might make you sad because you be like, man, 25 was lit. I was in Paris, Greece, wherever. We was popping bottles with all kinds of stuff. We had money. Now you're 32 and you're like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Nobody even called me today. So it's like, what really happened?
Yeah, it's true. But I also think that that's wisdom sometimes. And I say wisdom because you gain wisdom to realize that the people that were there for that moment, and they wasn't gonna be there after that because you was in a club. You was maybe at that point popping to something.
Yeah,
you
attractive.
Was that guy to something. You was attractive at that point. Maybe you gained some weight now. You don't look the same, or you got, this, that, the third. Those are things that can play in your head. But there's also that knowledge of being like, but they wasn't really there for me. Me and you both have people in our lives that we know no matter what, they're going to be there for us. You know what I'm saying? And it's not through word of mouth. It's not through what they're saying. It's straight up from their actions.
Yeah.
Their actions show, you call me, I'm there. You
Loyalty.
need me, I'm there.
Loyalty through consistency.
Exactly. And the consistency and the love. And even if y'all may not see eye to eye all the time, or y'all may bicker back and forth, that love, it never wavers, especially in a moment that a person could be down the most. I think that's sometimes, it's sad to say, but that's sometimes the moment you see your people around you the most is when you're at a low point. In that moment, you're looking around and you're like, wow, like they wasn't there for me, but these people were. And 100%. You'll never forget that. Like I've told the story about my pops with one of my best friends. He was laid on the couch for like 4 days, bro. He had a whole house. Could have went home and just checked up. You good? You good? He was like, nah, I'm laying my stuff out on your couch and I'm sleeping on the couch and you be in your room and I'm here for you, bro. For 4 days. People don't got to do that, but that's something that's, you know what I'm saying? Or when people go through stuff, pulling up and making sure you're there for them at their time of need.
Mm-hmm.
Those are so important. And yes, they are moments, but those aren't moments you need to be trapped in. Those are
Yeah.
moments that you could again walk from and know that you're not trapped in that moment. You're just learning from that moment. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's, again, you're saying at age 25, it was lit, but at age 30 something, I'm not getting the phone calls I used to get.
Mm-hmm.
But will you allow that to bother you? Or will you allow that to just be an understanding and be okay with that because you know that the people around you that did call you, that did text you, that was excited for you, actually meant it, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself now, with the wisdom that you have, dwelling on moments?
I think moments of disconnect. Yeah. I think you think back and you're like, I had the greatest moments with this person or this group of people. And then time goes on, you're like, well, damn, I'm happy for them. Or you're kind of looking for them, like where they go. Like, I don't need you, but I enjoyed it. The vibe was good. You made it into the circle. It's like, what happened? They fall off the face of the earth and they don't tell you, or maybe they move, they progress and do better things in life. So the fun stops being so frequent because it's not convenient. And then you kind of think back to yourself, like, I don't really want new friends. I don't want new companions, or I don't want to bring more people into my family's life. It's like, and then you kind of like sit back and like, you know what? It's all right because the moments we had were great, and if they were meant to be that part of my life, then I just gotta be grateful that it happened.
This might be hard to answer, and it might be a little too intrusive, but I'll ask the question regardless. What is one moment in your life? One moment. You don't have to describe it in depth or you know, um, in detail too deep.
Mm-hmm.
But what's one moment in life you still to this day want to go back to?
I think, actually, not. I think I know. Uh, I served in the Marine Corps and grew up with a really good friend of mine, brother. His name was Stans Black. And years went by. We kept in touch. He was very close to my wife, you know, my daughter. He was there a lot for us. And we had different orders, so we ended up, you know, not always being in the same units, but he was the one I took the road trip with from California, 29 Palms, all the way to New York.
Mm.
Uh, a lot of growing. Like, he introduced me to so much. Like, he had a Native American background. Um, just a big eye opener. You know, he was like a really big bro. Taught me how to fight pretty much too. Because every UFC move he found out, I had to learn about how to get out of it. You know, so it was great times for years. But I think one of the greatest times we had was after the Marine Corps, and I was able to see him with Chica. We took a road trip up to Niagara Falls where he was staying, and we were making all these plans and everything. I think I was visiting Kevin, my brother, at the time, and we were able to see him. I was able to bring him on Buffalo State campus, and we were chilling, vibing out, and catching up on old stuff, and it was amazing. And then we were making plans because I had to come back down.
Mm.
We were making plans to see each other next month, and I think he was either gonna come down by us. Yeah, he's gonna come down by us, and then go to his pops in D.C. And I get a call when I'm at work,
Mm-hmm.
and I get a call from somebody I haven't talked to in years. One of the boys that we served with, that we were tight with. And he's like, "Yo, I don't know how you gonna take this, but he said Stan's Black's going." I'm like, "What you mean?" And he's like, "It was a car accident." I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, "Nah." I couldn't really believe it until I got a call from his mom the same day. Or stepmom, excuse me, same day. And she's like, Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't make it, and that just stuck with me. And I was just like, why, you know? And then the last time I saw him, I was like, I didn't have to chase nostalgia because he made it feel like we were 21 again, even though it had already been like 10 years past, or how many ever year passed when we were hanging out. I still got the pictures of that day. Introduced him to my best friend Tanya. Introduced, like that moment. I look at the pictures. I don't get too upset about it, but thinking about it, I haven't talked about it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a moment that, loops over and over. And I'm like, I was happy. I was like so grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough. First of all, I'm sorry for your loss. I didn't even know that, to be honest. And yeah, man, that's tough. Losing anybody, but losing somebody that you find important, or somebody that is impactful, is devastating. For me, the moment I think I would go back to is very simple, but it's very just me. It's very just my pops. And a lot of people would think like the moment you would go back to is the day you lost your pops, or like the biggest moment or whatever. But mine was very simple. I remember in 7th grade, I tried out for the baseball team. I didn't make it. And my pops, I remember that he wasn't disappointed, but I remember how much he felt for me that I didn't make the team. I made it like last days, and then they cut me, like the last day of cuts or whatever.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
and I remember him telling me, all right, well, we got to get back to it and work hard. And I didn't know what working hard really meant until he actually made my ass work hard.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
remember being in the winter, like in December or January, because tryouts is like March. It was always brick outside.
That explains why we were outside in the front yard
Yeah.
throwing back and
Yeah.
forth.
But
hours,
even at
hours,
the
hours.
fields, like it would be me and him at the fields, and the ground is as hard as a rock.
Yeah.
And he's drilling ground balls to me, bro, like nonstop.
You were trying
And
to be a shortstop?
trying to be a shortstop,
Okay,
but eventually moved me to second because I couldn't make the throw from where they needed it. They
Yeah.
just couldn't make it. But the point of that whole story is the moment that really was amazing was the last day where they call out the names and they tell you what team you're on. If they don't call your name, that's it. You go home. And I remember they're calling names, and I'm getting nervous because it's starting to get towards the end. And they're calling names. And they finally call my name. And I just remember my dad was in a parking lot. So we're in the field, but I could see the truck in the parking lot. And I remember the pure excitement that's going through my brain. And I'm just like, I want to play with him. I want to mess with him a little bit. So I walk over and I get in the car, and I'm just kind of like this. And I throw my stuff in the back seat, and I sit down, put my head down. And he kind of like thought, he was like, you didn't do it, didn't make it, huh? And I was just like, nah, I did. And I looked up and I smiled, and I remember just the pure joy that he had, because not only did I make it, but so did he in that moment, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that he always wanted.
Hard
and I
work
think
paid off.
exactly, and I think that even like being a dad now, I understand the happiness. Like, no, my son hasn't gone into baseball and gone into the super competitive moment yet.
That cheer section is there, though.
Yeah, but my point is that when he does something and he knows he done something good and he knows it's gonna bring me joy, I understand the joy transfer back and forth. So that moment, I would say, sticks to me the most, is just turning, seeing him smile, the hug, and knowing that we both did that together. Like, yeah, I may have done it, but he sat in the brick cold when he was working 2 jobs and made sure that I worked my butt off, because nobody else is gonna bring me out there. You understand? So for me, those moments are just never forgotten, and that is the positive moment that I'm talking about. That sometimes it's okay to dwell in, it's okay to be in, and even for you, that one wasn't a positive moment, but the moments around that can bring you so much joy because you know the impact that it brought you as a person. And
Yeah, it wasn't a positive outcome
Mm-hmm.
as far as like the incident or accident,
Right.
but his mother made it positive because I'm not much of a. I mean, I could talk, you know, when I'm
Mm-hmm.
comfortable, but when I want to express myself, I write.
Right.
So when he passed, immediately I hit the paper. I started writing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything, you know, crazy, anything special, but I just wrote a poem and then I posted it. The responses that got from all of our old buddies and his family was like, it was big
Right.
because I guess it meant a lot. Because I also incorporated, I guess, a reference for his culture is bird because
Okay.
they're from like the Snipe clan of the Iroquois Confederacy. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a big thing. So I did that, and then his mother said that, you know, I may not be able to be there, but she wanted to take that, you know, snippet that I wrote and put it on his tombstone.
That's fire.
So I was like, that means a lot.
Right.
So now, you know, his family will actually see something,
Right.
how he impacted somebody else's life.
No, that's fire. That's fire. And that's
Yeah.
something that again people need to listen to and really understand. You know, and when we thought of this episode and you know being trapped in a moment, like I said, it's not always a negative thing, but it's also not always a positive thing. It's really how you wrap your mind around it and take it to the next level. You know, it's not. It's okay to still hurt. Like obviously you still hurt and it still hits you, but it's also probably taught you lessons about life and time. You know, and I think that that's so important. And you know, I appreciate you being here. And
Always.
remember, everybody that's trapped in time or trapped in a moment, excuse me, anybody that's trapped in a moment, just continue to stay blessed and think about it through. And that's another episode of the Culture Shop Podcast. We out here.